What an absolute gem of a football game that was today between Oregon and Iowa. It was cold, it was rainy, it was physical, it was a shit show, it was downright nasty, but it was beautiful in all of its essence. Oregon pulled this thing off 18-16. It wasn't pretty, but Oregon did what they had to do to secure a victory in this situation here. And if you study both these teams going into this game and took a look at the forecast, in which I'll admit I did. I'm a weather nerd, so I always look at the forecast for all these matchups going into every weekend. And I saw it here, cold and rainy, Iowa, they have the elements on their side to make this game conducive to who they are. Just cold, gritty, physical. We knew that they were going to make Oregon play the Iowa brand of football today. This was an Iowa football game. It was like a game from heaven for the Hawkeyes. But Oregon is built for these games now, and that's the difference that I want to highlight at this point between Oregon now and Oregon maybe 5 or 10 years ago. Oregon under Chip Kelly and even Oregon under Mario Cristobal, I don't foresee them winning this game. Going into a loud environment with nasty conditions and being coerced to play a physical brand of football, Oregon would have folded 5 or 10 years ago in this spot. But they are engineered differently under Dan Lanning. They embrace these moments. They live for this shit. I mean, you've got Dan Lanning on the sideline in a cotton shirt, and it's in the 40s and raining. I mean, that's borderline psychopath behavior, but that's how you have to be wired if you want to compete at an elite level, at a championship level. Dan Lanning knows that, and he instills that into this team. He instills that into Oregon's culture. And so I have all the trust in the world when Oregon goes into a situation like this. Almost in a lot of ways, this game reminded me of the game that we saw up in State College a few weeks ago against Penn State. You're going into a fierce opposing environment. It's loud, it's disruptive, and you had the elements this time. Oregon took it on the chin. They embraced it. They embraced the villain role, and they ended up once again quieting the crowd because that's what they do. So what exactly happened in this game? Well, it was a very low-scoring affair. From a score standpoint, it was anticlimactic. But from a football standpoint, and look, I'm as old school as it is, so I love these low-scoring physical games. From a football standpoint, it was enthralling. It was old school. I mean, the hitting, the defense, it was great, and I embraced and appreciated every moment of it. So it was a low-scoring game for a lot of this thing. Iowa had the lead late in the fourth quarter, and Dante Moore had a 2-minute drive in his hands. And that drive showed me everything that I need to know about Dante Moore, and it reminded me of a drive that I saw a few years ago. So I'm an Alabama fan, and when I was in college at Bama back in 2021, Bama had a game in the Plains at Auburn on Thanksgiving weekend, and Alabama's offense was just all out of sorts, all discombobulated. Couldn't move the ball for shit. And it came down to one drive out of Bryce Young, a 2-minute drill. And he drove the Tide methodically down the field, found Ja'Cory Brooks, tied the game, sent it to overtime. Bama wins, goes to the SEC championship, and the rest is rock and roll history. But that one drive alone showed me everything that I need to know about Bryce Young and what he's made of. Well, it was the same today for Dante Moore. You're down on the road, less than 2 minutes to go. You get the ball, and he was calm, cool, collected. You saw the way that he walked right up to the huddle. There's no panic at all. And that right there is a dog. That's a motherfucking dog, if I ever saw one. And then Dante Moore starts driving. And you can tell with some teams, because not every team does this, I feel like. Some teams, they have their 2-minute drill down to a T. This thing was rehearsed. Oregon was so thoroughly prepared for this moment that it looked easy, and they drove down the field with relative ease. It was almost like Dante Moore knew where to go with the ball on every single play. There was no hesitation. There was no second guessing. He just delivered the rock where he knew he needed to. And there was one pass in particular that blew my mind. That one pass that he had along the sideline to Malik Benson. Former Alabama guy. Shout Malik. Love my guy Malik. Great pass and catch there. And it showed me everything that I need to know about Dante Moore. He gets Oregon down into field goal range, and Atticus, Automaticus, as they call him up in Eugene, Sappington, knocks down the field goal for Oregon to win this thing 18-16. But that drive was an illustration to me of Dante Moore's DNA and what he's made of as a quarterback, as a competitor, as a player, as a dog. You know, I've been hearing a lot of first-round draft pick hype about Dante Moore, and I was up and down on it. When you can deliver a drive like that under that level of pressure, like you are wired differently as a competitor. And kind of like Bryce Young's game against Auburn, do not look at the stat line, because it's nothing glamorous. I'll just say that. I'm looking at it right now. 13 for 21, 112 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns. Like, not a great day at all, really. But when he needed to most, Dante Moore delivered. Also, Noah Whittington really opened up the seams for Oregon today and made this victory possible for the Ducks. 6.9 yards per carry on the ground off of 17 carries, 118 rushing yards. And, of course, that stingy Oregon defense, as always, under Dan Lanning. Man, I love it. And out of Iowa, I mean, it was a Mark Gronowski kind of game that not a lot of passes. You know, they kept a lot of this game on the ground, 43 rushes for 101 total yards. Mark Gronowski, 10 for 18, 138 passing yards. Nothing enthralling, but had Iowa in a position to win this thing. Again, they played a physical smash-mouth brand of football like they always do, but they let this one get away, and it is crushing. If you're a Hawkeye fan, do not get me wrong. Like when you have a top 10 team on the ropes like this, you want to crack the hammer down. You want to chop the head off the snake and get out of this game with a dub, especially at home. And man, you walking home in the cold rain, it sucks. Feel bad for Iowa fans tonight. I really do. Great fan base, a lot of nice people. You deserved that victory today, and you didn't get it. And so for that, I feel bad. But I hope that Iowa will probably become unranked after this. They're 6-3 now, but I hope they find their way back in. And as far as Oregon goes, and some people will probably argue me on this, I think Oregon deserves to go up in ranking after this. Because it showed their character. It showed what they're made of. I don't think the committee will view it that way, and that's unfortunate. But you played the number 20 team in the nation on the road in horrendous conditions, and you pull off. It's not all about the sexiness and the glam of the final score. Sometimes you just got to thug it out, and that's what Oregon did. But, man, Oregon is built different these days, and I love it. I think it's great to see. All right, the other game I want to touch on here for a few minutes, an absolute barn burner between Auburn and Vanderbilt. Auburn had 3 points against Kentucky last week, Hugh Freeze's last game. Well, under DJ Durkin today, 38. Oh, excuse me. Still got a horrendous cough. Excuse me. They were rolling today on the offensive side of the ball. Ashton Daniels, 31 for 44, 353 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Best day of his career. Great day for Ashton Daniels. Jeremiah Cobb on the ground, 115 rushing yards. Ashton Daniels had 89 himself. The receivers were clicking. Cam Coleman, that dude is manufactured in a lab. That dude is not real. He has first-round potential written all over him. 143 receiving yards, including that one circus touchdown catch he had. Eric Singleton over 100 receiving yards as well. And so this is the Auburn we've been waiting to see all year. And per usual, you see it the week after the head coach is fired. It's typical. Vanderbilt, great day out of super senior Diego Pavia. 25 completions out of 33 attempts, 277 passing yards for 3 touchdowns. He's also Vandy's leading rusher today, 112 rushing yards, and Trey Richardson at 124 receiving yards. Eli Stowers had 122 as well. And so, great day offensively for Vandy. They were way behind the 8 ball at one point, and they clawed their way back in this thing, pulled it off at home at First Bank Stadium. It's a good win. It keeps Vanderbilt still alive in the college football playoff race. But the one thing I will say, it's a concern of mine for Vanderbilt now, is their defense. They allowed 34 on the road against Texas last weekend and now 38 today. It's been a little concerning, and they still got Tennessee on the schedule. That game concerns me. I think that Joey Aguilar and their offense can light them up. That's my one key concern for Vanderbilt, but yet, great win. Vandy finds a way to pull off in overtime, and the magical season lives on for the Commodores. Let me know what y'all think about both these games in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.